I'm going to talk about subtraction with respect to decimals. All right. Let me show you a convenient column-based method to do subtraction with respect to decimals. So I'll start with the following example. Suppose you wanted to calculate 7.86 minus 4.35. So what I would suggest is put the first decimal on top of the second decimal, line up the decimal points, and then focus on each column of numbers separately. So, for example, the rightmost column has a 6 and a 5. I'm going to calculate 6 minus 5 and get 1, so I'm going to write 1 below. The next column, the middle column, I have an 8 and a 3, so I'm going to calculate 8 minus 3 and get 5, so I'm going to write a 5 below. And then for the next column, I have decimal points, so I'm going to write a decimal point below. And then for the leftmost column, I have a 7 and a 4, so I'm going to calculate 7 minus 4 and get 3. So the answer is 3.51. Now, let me try to show you why this works. So to see why it works, let's convert 7.86 into a sum involving integers, an integer and fractions. So this is equal to 7 plus 8 over 10 plus 6 over 100. All right? And now let's find an equivalent expression for 4.35 as well. That's equal to 4 plus 3 over 10 plus 5 over 100. All right, so to find the difference of the decimals on the left side, I can equivalently find the difference of the expressions on the right side. I'm talking about the equations, so the right side of the equations. So let me go ahead and find the difference of the expressions on the right sides. So 7 minus 4 gives 3. 8 over 10 minus 3 over 10 gives 5 over 10. 6 over 100 minus 5 over 100 gives 1 over 100. So that final sum is equal to 3.51. All right, let me do another example. 6.28 minus 4.1. As you can see, we don't have two numbers in the rightmost column. Okay? However, just like for the corresponding column-based method for addition, we can add zeros in certain places as needed. So I can go ahead and put a 0 in the rightmost column, and now I can subtract 0 from 8 and get 8, subtract 1 from 2 and get 1, subtract 4 from 6 and get 2, so the answer is 2.18. All right? Now I would like you to try one. Would you please pause the video and calculate 4.32 minus 3.2? Do that now, please. All right, so I'll work it out as well. So I'm going to add a 0 to the rightmost column, and now I can subtract 0 from 2 and get 2, 2 from 3 and get 1, 3 from 4 and get 1, so the answer is 1.12. All right? Let me do another example that I'll show you a problem that you may run into. Suppose you wanted to calculate 4.21 minus 1.86. Now, as you can see, the rightmost column, if you were to subtract 6 from 1, you're going to get a negative number. And in this column-based method of subtraction, we don't want to get negative numbers. So here is what you can do. So I will first use the method, and then I'll explain why it works. So I'm going to change the 2 in 4.21, change that to a 1, and change the 1 in 4.21, the rightmost one, change that to an 11. Okay? And so now for the rightmost column, I'm going to subtract 6 from 11 and get 5. Now, in the middle column, if I was to subtract 8 from the 1 that's remaining, then I would get a negative again. So I'm going to change the 4 to a 3 and change the 1 in the middle column to an 11. Now if I subtract 8 from 11, I get 3. And then if I subtract 1 from 3, with respect to the leftmost column, I get 2. So the answer is 2.35. All right, so let me explain why this method works. Okay, so let's write 4.21 as 4 plus 2/10 plus 1/100th. Okay, now would you agree that 4 plus 2/10 plus 1/10 is equal to 3 plus 12/10 plus 1/100th? So notice what I did. I turned the 4 into a 3, but I changed the 2 over 10 to a 12 over 10 to compensate. All right? I can make another modification. So let me now change the 12 over 10 to an 11 over 10. And to compensate for the missing 1/10, I'm going to I'm going to change the 1 over 100 to 11 over 100. Okay, now let's work with that final expression. Let's use that to calculate the answer. First, let me write 1.86 as 1 plus 8/10 plus 6/100th. Okay, so now if I do 11 over 100 minus 6 over 100, I get 5 over 100. If I do 11 over 10 minus 8 over 10, I get 3 over 10. And if I do 3 minus 1, I get 2. All right, so I have this sum that's equal to the difference that I'm looking for, and that's equal to 2.35. All right, so study this. This will help you to see why the method of what I did there works. Okay? Now, let me do another example. Suppose I wanted to calculate 7.1 minus 3.23. So, as in the other example, I can add a 0 to the rightmost column. All right, and for this example, I'm going to get a negative number if I subtract 3 from 0. So I'm going to have to do what I did before. So I'll turn the 1 in the 7.1 to 0, and then turn the 0 in the rightmost column to a 10. Okay, 10 minus 3 gives 7. And then for the 0 in the middle column, I'm going to turn that into a 10 by turning the 7 into a 6. 10 minus 2 gives 8. And then finally 6 minus 3 gives 3. So the answer is 3.87. Okay, now I would like you to do an example. Would you please calculate 3.65 minus 2.871 1. Pause the video and do that now, please. Alright, so I'll go ahead and work it out as well. So I'll add a 0 in the rightmost column, then I'll turn the 5 into a 4 and put a 10 in the rightmost column. So 10 minus 1 gives 9. Now let me change the 6 into a 5 and turn the 4 into a 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. Now let me turn the 3 into a 2 and the 5 into a 15. 15 minus 8 is 7. 2 minus 2 is 0. So I hope you got 0.779.